Again, a live look at Liberty University, Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty University, a Christian institution, and in the vernacular of my church, we'd call that the praise team, a singing group out there, obviously with one of the Christian hits in popular music, warming up the crowd for Ted Cruz, who will be on to speak in just a few minutes, with Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth on the anchor desk, and from Newsmax LA, Larry Elder, weighing in from the left coast on what's happening on the East Coast this morning. Larry, we very much appreciate your presence today here with us as we talk about the imminent announcement from Ted Cruz. You know, just to go on, some people are measured by the hostility they engender from people on the left, and Jerry Brown was on NBC's Meet the Press yesterday, and I don't have the description right here in front of me. I know something about calling Ted Cruz, quote, a bald-faced liar.
Wow.
On
harsh
climate
words.
change and wrong for America. Boy, I could think of any number of invective labels that would be accurate about Jerry Brown, given the fact that California is spending money hand over fist, and you got the whole matter of the illegals now getting their driver's licenses. Larry Elder, your take on what Jerry Brown had to say yesterday about Ted Cruz, and what do you expect to hear in today's announcement?
Well, you know, Jerry Brown is the big global warming guy, and his big mission is to do the bullet train here in California, in part because he believes it's going to help with the fight on global warming. You know, Miranda and JD, normally being a minority gives you some sort of cachet. If you're on the left, when Obama ran, Harry Reid said he was a clean guy with no discernible Negro accent. When Hillary ran, she talked about the cracks in the glass ceiling, using her gender as an advantage. When Kay Belly Hutchinson ran for senator in Texas, she was referred to as a female impersonator by a feminist named Gloria Steinem. And when Alan Keyes, Alan West, and Herman Cain ran, they were accused of being Oreos. So I wonder whether or not Ted Cruz feels his status as a minority is an advantage or a liability if you're a Republican.
Right. Wow. And speaking, you mentioned McCain. Let's bring up what Senator McCain said about him. Now, he was quoted as saying this weekend that we're friendly when asked about how he thinks about Cruz now. But earlier he was quoted, what was it?
I believe the term was wacko birds back about a year and a half ago.
So he doesn't have, he's kind of polarizing a little bit in the Republican Party, wouldn't you say?
I would, and I just find the whole thing fascinating. Dick Durbin recently said that because Republicans have held up the nomination of Loretta Lynch, they were putting her at the back of the bus. This is the same guy, Dick Durbin, who voted against Condi Rice's confirmation. He voted against Miguel Estrada. He voted against Janice Rogers Brown. Again, when you are a minority and you're a Republican, you cease being a minority. You're like a white guy, an honorary white guy.
And subject to all the invective that Caucasian politicians. Well, it's a perverse kind of equal opportunity, I guess, Larry.
Right.
But in all sincerity, about the United States Senate and the alleged comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y, as opposed to comedy, which we often get from the late night guys. The fact is that Ted Cruz has not made a lot of friends amongst the older senators or those who've served a long time, correct?
He is not. This is a very interesting guy. Double Ivy, went to Harvard for law school, graduated as the head of the Harvard Law Review, freshman senator. Who does that remind you of? Somebody like President Barack Obama, freshman senator, double Ivy. Nobody kind of really knew who he was, came out of nowhere. He was called a fresh face. But Ted Cruz doesn't seem to be getting that same kind of respect.
Can it also work against him that he's kind of the first one to announce? Because history has shown that that doesn't always work in your favor. In fact, most of the time it doesn't.
Well, you never really know. I remember a guy named Jimmy Carter with 1% in the polls. He announced very, very early. He ended up getting the nomination. You just never know. What usually happens, though, is the front runner, like Hillary, stumbles. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not she's going to stumble because of all the various scandals she's got. You know, the email scandals and the Clinton contribution scandal. And you got Elizabeth Warren and Governor O'Malley and Joe Biden all waiting for her to stumble. I think that's going to be fascinating to watch, too.
Well, you talk about the emails and Hillary Clinton, and a lot of us have our suspicions that the dominant media culture is going to give her a free ride when all is said and done on that. But there's another E word for Ted Cruz: extreme. That's what the Democrats say, and I guess we're going to hear that from the media. 30 seconds on that, Larry. How does Ted Cruz overcome that, or does he embrace it?
He's called extreme because of his opposition to Obamacare and because of his opposition to Obama's executive order on immigration. Look at the polls. Most Americans don't like Obama's executive order, and most Americans still are not happy with Obamacare. So how does that make him extreme, unless the American people are extreme?
Yeah, it's always very interesting. We tend to hear that, well, even about moderates who end up with the Republican nomination. It's always from the left. They're extreme. Right. Larry, we ask you to stand by because we're waiting to see if Senator Cruz will take the stage in mere moments. When he does, we'll have it for you.